Welcome, viewers, to episode 4 of the ASM podcast. Today we are going to be discussing defining consciousness evolution, and I'm going to be facilitating, and lovely Donna Kasha is going to be going under. Really looking forward to it. I hope you are as well.
Yeah, all good, Martin. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. I've not too long come out of doing the episode 3, so we felt it was the right thing to do to go straight into episode 4 and keep that coherence going. So really looking forward to this, and let's see what we can come up with.
Absolutely.
So in a moment, I'm going to be taking Donna through the embodiment section of the ASM. I'm going to be dropping her down. So we won't be recording that as we've explained in other episodes, but we will come back in after, and then we'll look forward to the questions given to Donna and see what responses we get from a higher consciousness. Really looking forward to this one. I can feel the energy's right. So I know we're going to get some pretty profound answers from yourself. So I'm really super looking forward to it. So I hope the viewers will get the most out of it. Just to say, it's the first time for anyone who's come through, it'd be worth going back over episode 1, 2 and 3 just to keep you up to speed and the ideas of what ASM is and what's actually going on if you're the first time listening to it. So I hope those are good for it and clear for you and get clarity, and let's get ready to roll.
I'm ready.
Yeah, let's do it. See you in a sec, guys. Look forward to it. Oversoul, are you ready to begin this sacred dialogue?
Yes.
Thank you. Just for the viewers at present, to let you know that Donna has gone through the ASM process. She is now anchored into the body of superconsciousness and higher, and we are about to engage with some questions that we've set regarding defining consciousness evolution. Are we ready to ask some questions on divine consciousness evolution?
Yes.
Okay. What do we mean when we talk about conscious evolution?
There's many ways in which we could approach answering that question. If we were to look at it from a basic perspective, then I guess consciousness in all its forms is always evolving. Consciousness in its very essence always wants to become more, expand, experience in itself in different forms and vibrations. And so at a most basic level, I guess you could describe conscious evolution as the consciousness wanting to expand into more than it is in its current position.
Okay. It's what would be the differences between conscious evolution from natural or biological evolution?
Consciousness is eternal. Consciousness has been here since the beginning of what you call time. Consciousness is ever expanding and ever creating different forms and different experiences. And so I guess it's eternal. From a biological viewpoint, and like many biological systems within the earth, they work with the natural laws of the earth. So they go through birth and death processing. And so consciousness does not die. It's beyond form.
Yeah.
beyond the form in which you recognise as 3D form.
Okay, thank you. Are we able to move on to the next question? How does the ASM framework help us understand the mechanics of consciousness evolution?
Every soul on their journey at some point in their own evolution will begin to recognise that there is more. It may start as a sneaky suspicion. It may start as just an inner longing or questioning, or perhaps even a period of deep unhappiness that then creates the conditions for a soul to begin to go through an evolutionary process within their human being. And so the ASM is designed to be a very, very simple, direct solution for the human being who is about to embark on a conscious evolution or a rapid conscious evolution. What this means is it means the soul has grown tired of continuously looping in the program. The soul recognizes that, on some level, even if the human being does not recognize this, that the soul may have been looping and experiencing the same programs over and over and over again throughout many, many lifetimes. And as the soul grows weary of re-experiencing the same things, this is kind of almost like an activation point for the soul to begin to evolve. When we look at humanity as a whole and all the different ways in which each individual human being comes into more awareness, begins their journey of evolving, soul embodiment, there are many, many, many different paths. So there are many, many different routes. And the ASM is a very simple route. It's a route that's very direct in the sense of that the individual can ask the right questions, gain clarity on the answers, and therefore can then move on, can move forward on their journey. However, many other pathways or many other ways in which each individual soul might go about an awakening or an evolution in their consciousness can be kind of like one step forward, three steps back, because there is a very large seeking period generally once a soul begins to want to activate and awaken and begin the evolution within the body. And so you can imagine if the seeking part might last many, many, many years. This is many, many, many years of the ego looking in the wrong direction, seeking outside of itself for the answers. The ASM really guides the individual to the only place where they really can find the answers that they're looking for, and that is inside. And then, of course, once the questions have been answered, then either the individual can just go on to the next set of questions until all questions have been satisfied, or realise that seeking is infinite. And actually, it's about trusting, deepening within your intuition and your knowing, and allowing the evolution to unfold naturally, organically. And it's different for everyone. It's part of the journey, is to have a unique evolutionary experience. That's the point. So nobody can tell anybody else how they should do it. But of course, looking inside is so many advantages of that, if that is the pathway that the individual has chosen to have a more direct route.
So the defining consciousness evolution is basically a sharpening of their own intuition through that as well, isn't it? Would that be correct in saying? Is the trust within that?
The soul was present always through the journey, and it's the soul that chooses to have the experience of being human, to evolve as soul. Souls have many journeys in many different places and spaces in many different forms. And so when the soul chooses to come into the human body to have a human evolutionary experience, the soul's present. But then because of the way that the human evolutionary experience is set up within the years of what we call the programming years, the soul is continuously put through circumstances where it kind of forgets. It closes itself down. It creates conditions to help it navigate the human experience, the human family, the human society, the human education system. The soul has to adjust itself and create masks and personas to survive the conditions here. And in that, the soul that begins at the beginning of the journey is very known, is just the most natural thing in the world. And it kind of, in essence, wanting for a better set of words, it gets buried underneath the programming. And so the intuition or the soul communication becomes more and more subtle. More and more quiet, like a whisper in the background. And therefore the program is kind of takes the forefront of the experience. And so many human beings, they forget what their soul whispers, the soul sensations, the soul communications. They forget what that feels like.
Yeah. Thank you. Are we able to move on to the next question? Thank you. How does shifting our brainwave states, alpha, beta, gamma, theta, influence evolution of the consciousness level?
Okay, so it's useful at this point to understand that conscious evolution and then what you're calling soul embodiment is two different things. It's the same thing, but it's two different things. Every single soul on the planet, regardless of whether they are embodying or not embodying, every single soul is always evolving. Every single experience is an evolution to each individual soul. So an example I could give would be, let's say we have a human being that chose to have a very deep journey with the experience of addiction. And from a soul level, every single part of that experience is so it's so evolving. It provides an experience perhaps that a soul has never experienced before, and having to navigate those conditions and create through those conditions can give a soul an experience that can help the soul massively evolve in lots of ways. However, from the human being's perspective, we might look at someone with addictions and fall into the idea that they're not doing so well or that they have gotten it wrong. Evolution doesn't work in that way. Every single experience is new data, new collective data. So when human beings, when we talk about evolution, it's happening anyway. When we talk, however, about soul embodiment, that is obviously when the individual has chosen to embody So literally allow the soul to come right in through the body, anchor into the body, anchor in a way where rather than the program leading the human experience, it is now the soul leading the human experience. So in other words, for the human being, what that means is the soul is driving. The human being is now experiencing itself as soul in a body, and not a human being experiencing itself as a body that might have a soul. And that's the difference.
Okay, thank you. Are we able to move on to the next question? Thank you. How do our choices, moment by moment, contribute to the evolution of our soul's expression?
Well, I'm sure it must seem fairly obvious that if we continue to loop in programs, you know, so in other words, if we have an experience and we then re-experience the same thing again and again and again and again and again, and we're not breaking the patterns that are the programmed patterns, then eventually what's happening is, although there'll always be differences in every experience because it's different souls playing out the patterns in different ways, but generally the same pattern being experienced over and over again, you can imagine that it is more limiting to a soul's evolution than actually overcoming that particular pattern and then being able to experience another pattern, or being able to experience moving into creating something new that the soul hasn't experienced before. Therefore, again, the soul gaining more experience and more data, more information.
Okay, so in terms of that, so can conscious evolution be accelerated, and if so, what supports that acceleration?
Conscious evolution can accelerate, and there are many examples of conscious evolution accelerating. It's not necessarily a destination, it's not a straight line, it's not linear. However, some people can simply activate and remember overnight. You know, that is what they've chosen as soul. They haven't chosen to go through a long, deep process of moving through all of the patterns or the challenges that the patterns may present. And then another soul may have chosen just that, to move through every single pattern. So again, there's crossovers here with the difference again between the soul embodiment and conscious evolution, because actually the soul that's moving through the patterns on earth may look as though they are less evolved than the soul that decides to instantly remember themselves as soul. However, that's not always the case, because the soul that is allowing themselves to move through the depth of the experience, they are gaining more wisdom. So they're evolving at a greater pace, even though it may not always look like that. All souls are magnificent, intelligent beings. All souls are that. That is the true nature of soul. But it's the limited human experience that really is a space that is rare, and not all souls choose to experience this type of environment, this level of polarity. It's a challenging experience for souls.
Yeah, very much so. Are we able to move on to the next question, which kind of leads us through, really, is like, when individuals do shift in consciousness, how does that ripple out to the collective field?
If individuals understood how powerful they were, and how even one individual really anchoring and activating their sovereign fields through their physical body, the effect that that has on the collective consciousness, on every part of the consciousness that the individual touches. So from a perspective of standing on earth, one individual can literally affect thousands of individuals around it.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a huge effect on the collective consciousness, even just through one individual. So when many individuals, evolve and begin to remember or anchor into the higher octaves, the higher dimensional frequencies, it ripples out and affects every single soul, because we often know that each human being thinks that somehow they are more advanced than the other. However, it's one consciousness. It is one consciousness. There's no human being that's more advanced than the other. That is a human ego trait. Each individual soul has chosen exactly the experience that they would like to have on the journey of being human. And it is a single consciousness, and every single individual on this plane affects the rest of the consciousness that they are.
Yes. Okay. And so in that way, how are the individuals co-creating humanity's evolution right now? In what ways are they co-creating to change evolution?
Humanity has an organic divine blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's two sides to what we might call the evolution on the earth right now. Many, many souls have come with the remembrance of the divine blueprint that will activate and unlock for them again in divine timing, when that is just right for them. And that remembrance will begin to bring their divine blueprint online. And the divine blueprint, the technology that is the avatar that was designed to stream consciousness. That is the design. Consciousness as an intelligent field of energy, and without the technologies, without the avatar, then consciousness soul would simply not be able to have the experience. So the avatar, in a sense, has been locked down. It's operating on a fraction of its capacity, which then only allows the soul to operate at a fraction of its capacity through the body. But as the divine blueprint kicks in, activates, the clearing begins, the upgrade, it's like having an upgrade, then suddenly the soul and the consciousness can really anchor through into the body. And then simultaneously, the earth is also going from a more closed down version back into the divine organic, the original blueprint version, which was a much higher frequency.
Yeah.
It was a frequency where all form had a remembrance of everything being connected, rather than everything being separate. But it is surely a fascinating experience to drop down to a level of actually truly believing that you are separate.
Yeah.
So there is, a lot to be gained within that experience too. But it's time for everything to move up. It's time for everything to lift up into the higher octaves again.
So in what way does, when a community aligns with love and coherence, what are the shifts that happen there?
I mean,
Because we've talked about the individuals.
yeah, I mean, if you get two people together, it doesn't just double the coherence field. It quadruples the coherence field. So when you get a community of individuals together, you really do amplify the ripple that is sent into the collective consciousness and the earth and everything else that is connected into the field of oneness. So everything interacts with everything. Everything is in relationship with everything else. So yeah, it's not a new thing. You have done many experiments on mass meditation and noting how it affects the Schumann resonance, for example. So it really, really is something that is a gift when humanity learn to come together in coherence. But so much more than that. There is so much more coming. Things like the pyramids and the way that the pyramids were put together, that it wasn't technology, it was human beings working together with their gifts and being able to move form. Form is just sound. So there is so much potential when humanity come out of playing the game of separation and come back into remembering how they work together.
I mean, it kind of leads on to why is conscious evolution more relevant now than any other time in history?
It's not any more relevant now. Conscious evolution is always unfolding. It's always unfolding. Soul embodiment is more relevant now. And the essence that, there is a fascination, there is a big interest in what is unfolding on planet Earth right now. There are a lot of intelligent energies that didn't think that it was possible, that didn't think that a soul could go from that level of density back up into a full embodied avatar. The upgraded version. It's never been done in that way before. So this is what makes it so fascinating. And we didn't believe it. However, we can now see that it is possible. It's already done. We're just waiting on the last pieces to catch up.
So, I mean, what are the risks if we don't engage in conscious evolution as a species? Or has that already been set in stone and we are just working towards it?
There's not any real risk. It's only an experience. It's a simulation. So there's not any real risk. For example, we have tried multiple times and got it wrong, and we just go back and we try again until we get it right. So it doesn't work in the way that human beings experience things. It's not linear. Most of the human beings on the planet right now have traveled back in time to be at this point. In time and space. So it's not linear, and there's no real danger.
So how can conscious evolution help humanity break free from the cycles of trauma, conflict, or separation?
Again, it depends on your outlook, and it depends on what your experience. The beautiful thing about the Earth plane experience is that it hosts such a vast array of experiences, and that is why it is such a fascinating place to visit, to observe, to experience, because again, human beings or souls decide on buying into different narratives and different stories. And this is what then creates the experience that they live. However, because there is such a vast array of experiences to be had here, you know, ultimately, each soul chooses their experience. And at present, the experience is, if you can be born into a very dense third dimensional body that is fully programmed, and as a soul, work your way through all of that programming to come fully into the body, the soul realizes that that was all part of the plan. It was all part of the deal. It always was. So there was never any like risk of the soul getting stuck or not getting it right, or any of those types of narratives.
Yeah.
Or, you know, dark powers, you know, winning and all of this kind of narrative. It's all weaved into the programming of the game.
Yeah.
So it's more of the soul embodies and goes, ah, yes, I remember I chose this and I knew I was going to get through this all along. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, yeah. Are we okay to move on to some other questions? So how can an individual begin practicing conscious evolution in their life?
Micro steps.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best way. Often we observe human beings fighting their programming. It's like fighting their own will, if you like. You can't fight a program in the same way as you can't fight a defense. But if you take very, very small micro steps every day, ones that do not create resistance, then you can trick the program and move through it that way. So that's one of the best ways and one of the most clever and effective ways to create change, because really what we're doing is we're trying to create something different. We're trying to create a desired outcome. However, when the programming is strong, regardless of the wants or desires of the being having the experience, they can just find themselves looping round and round and round again. So micro changes towards a goal is a good way of breaking patterns, but also just gentle discipline practices as well. It's already been noted, heart-brain coherence, just focusing on understanding that the heart is the intelligence. The mind, the analytical mind, the 3D mind, the construct that has been created, where everything is all up in the head, and everything's thought through, and the thoughts lead the way. It's not the organic design. The mind must surrender to the intelligence of the heart. And so any kind of practice of being more heart-centered, practice of quieting the thoughts of the mind, focus practice, meditation has a place. It's not going to get you all the way there, but all of these things have a place to help each individual come into more focus, more heart, less thoughts, more presence. So anything that can help assist with those things will bring you into deeper embodiment and help assist you on your way towards that.
Yeah, and I would probably say, do you believe that food and drink have a things like exercise and everything that seems small, but changing someone's diet, increasing their water, maybe even 10 to 15 minutes, even if they're just walking, these are the things that are making the difference as well. Is that true?
Everything plays a part, you know, and again, it's not one rule fits all. Of course, if you are moving into, let's say, being more connected or anchored into your soul, as opposed to being more anchored into your body. If you lighten the diet, that helps you feel lighter. Whereas, heavy foods will make your consciousness or your soul, which is energetic in nature, it will make it feel heavier, pulling it down, or a feeling of being pulled down. And so it doesn't necessarily affect the individual's evolution, but it will make a big difference to the individual experience of whether they feel high and light and connected, or whether they feel sluggish and slow and a bit disconnected. So, but if the soul has chosen to evolve, the soul will have a plan of what that evolution looks like. So, yeah.
Thank you. Be okay to move on to the next question. How can conscious evolution support us in aligning with our soul's highest purpose?
Well, the biggest kept secret is the soul's highest purpose is just simply to be. And in that pure beingness, the highest outcome is always being created without the soul doing anything. Will always be for the highest purpose of everything, the one consciousness. So there are many stages, of course, in evolution, but when a human being becomes fully bodied, avatar, God body, there will be more and more human beings realizing that they don't have to do anything but hold that frequency. And with every step they take, creation is always working for the best outcome of all. And they don't need to worry about anything else.
Balance. Thank you. And are we okay to move on to the final question? Is that okay? Okay. What vision do you hold for humanity if conscious evolution becomes the guiding principle for the next era?
Everything's going to change. Human beings will again begin to form community. There will be beautiful communities that again are very heart-led, where individuals remember what it means to be in community. Once the separated consciousness really begins to transform, transmute, once it's outgrown, and individuals begin to remember the ultimate truth, that there is no other. There's no other person, there's only one. Then that is when the individuals will remember themselves as each other. And when you remember yourself as each other, then of course you move into a different way of being. There's no one outside of you to blame. Individuals come into a greater sense of self-responsibility. If there's work to be done in aligning more to be of service to not only self, but to the all, to everyone, then each individual is willing to look at themselves and do that work. And then what will happen is more harmonious communities will begin to form. As more harmonious communities begin to form, again, we're going back to that coherence. Communities will realise that by coming together from their heart, they begin to create these larger coherence fields. It ripples, it spreads. And of course, as part of that journey too, each and every unique, brilliant, intelligent soul will begin to remember their gifts. And many of the gifts are designed to work together in community. Jigsaw puzzles. Each and every gift or each and every soul is like a piece of the larger puzzle. And they fit together in all kinds of combinations. And these combinations can create the most magnificent things that human beings can't even imagine at this point in time. So communities will begin to form, human beings will begin to live a much more simplistic existence, i.e. on the land, in community, be much happier in doing so, but also begin to remember their divine technology and their divine creativity when they come together. And things will really, really shift in ways that we can't even imagine now.
So conscious evolution, do you think there'll be an increase with telepathy within humans?
All of it.
All of it.
Telepathy, telekinesis.
Yeah.
Every gift that you can imagine a human being holds that gift. Every gift that you can imagine.
That's where the real excitement is, isn't
it? It's already activating and already being realised in many, many people.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally, it is just the density of the body that just needs to come up just a little bit more. And it's happening fast. The body's losing density every single day right now. And once that vibrational frequency, once that octave of frequency just rises just enough,
mm-hmm.
many, many human beings will be activated and active, if you like, in some of their gifts. We have many, many gifts, some of their gifts. And that will continue to unfold and expand as we continue to raise the frequency.
That's amazing. Thank you very much for answering the questions today. I'd like to appreciate Donna yourself for coming through. Just wanted to speak to the people who might be watching, just to let them know that I'll be taking Donna now out, bringing her consciousness back into her body. So that's going to be a little bit of process. We'll probably have 5 to 10 minutes where we will relax, get herself embodied in nicely, and then we'll come back and have a discussion about the session we've just had. So I look forward to speaking to you very soon. Thank you. Hi viewers, and people obviously listening on the audio, just to let you know that Donna's now come back into the room, which is fantastic. We've brought her consciousness back in, and just how did it feel for you?
I really enjoyed that one. I'm feeling absolutely buzzing right now. Like, absolutely, I feel so in my soul right now. Like, really, my body feels very, very light at the moment. I've got a really beautiful feeling of like just pure joy running through me. It's feel a bit giddy. Yeah, I loved it. I just loved it. Yeah, it felt really good. It was actually, and I know I already mentioned this to you. I experienced that differently to how in a different way, I guess, than I have ever experienced ASM before. It was really embodied this time. So, I think this is the beautiful thing about the ASM method, is every time it can be a completely different experience. And it can be different layers or levels of consciousness that come through. But throughout that experience, I was kind of like seeing myself in a more evolved human version of myself, speaking as myself, but very kind of sure. It felt like there was a surety, like
definitely a surety in the answers, like, for sure.
It's kind of a little part of my own consciousness was kind of, because it's observing, and I was just like, wow, like this is different. So yeah, I just really enjoyed it. As you know, when you come out, it can take you a little bit of time to ground back in.
Very much so. Yeah.
But I'm feeling really fantastic.
Good. Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, I thought it was really good. The answers were very direct. They were very confident. The way they come across, and like we're learning this as we're going along with doing the podcast. So we're trying to bring it through as more organic as we possibly can, and I think that's something that we're going to be working on maybe like over the next couple of weeks. So we've got next podcast is going to be episode 5, which is going to be the secrets of the heart, which is going to be really exciting.
And I'm going to facilitate that.
You are facilitating, and I shall look forward to going down again. Yeah, but I think this is what's come across to me more importantly is the how different each ASM session really is. And that's what really gets me in there, because like you said, we've got levels of consciousness that are going to come through for certain different questions, different topics, and it is infinite. So I mean, we're on a journey here.
Oh my goodness. And you know, I guess I'd just like to also just remind everyone that we decided purposefully to make the first series a bit more linear, a bit more like structured, a bit more like, you know, we'll ask these questions. However, this is not the only way in which you can hold these sessions. And, you know, I think it's really exciting because I'm super excited to, let's say, get on to season 2 when we're going to be experimenting with all the other different formats to show you guys the different ways in which this can work. Yeah,
and it's definitely for the first series we wanted to lay down the foundations.
Absolutely.
So some of the viewers or listeners may find it may be a little bit linear for them, depending on where they're at. But the real magic, I believe, will be for series 2 and on, and how we're going to be co-creating to bring out the best in not just the ASM, but human consciousness, evolution, embodiment, heart, secrets of the heart, healing, everything. So
I mean, I guess that's it. The areas we're covering on the first one are relevant to the basic foundational understanding of ASM.
Yes.
But it is the infinite field.
It is.
And so I can't wait to be exploring things that I've never explored yet. That's where I get really excited.
Yeah, same. Same. So thank you, viewers and listeners. Heart-centered, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.